In May and June of 2015, I attempted to drive across Vietnam on a motorcycle. The first leg of this trip was driven on a Minsk motorcycle from Hanoi to Sapa, over 700 kilometers. When the spring that held the kickstand fell off, I created my own solution.
This is my favorite part of the bike. This is the kickstand elevator. It lowers and raises the kickstand. Let's see this mechanism in action. Now lower it down.
In addition to the kickstand, the bike broke down 14 times in 3 days. After Sapa, I put my Minsk in the bottom of the bus and headed to Hanoi to trade it in for a Honda Win. In coming to Vietnam, I was searching for a place where the journey was the destination. This is Minsk-Win, Vietnam. On June 2nd, 2015, on the 23rd anniversary of my birth, I was wearing the motorcycle jacket and pants, which my parents bought for me as an early birthday present. Least to say, they worked. Riding with me was Camilo from Chile, Josh from London, Drew from San Francisco. They all had their reasons for the trip. Camilo was having the last big trip before becoming responsible for the family business. Drew's universe lined up for him to take this trip, along with more than 3,000 of his passengers as a Lyft driver, telling them that traveling was the best part of their lives. And Josh needed this trip for some soul searching. And me, well, I needed a trip to experience something more. All of our bikes were different, just like our personalities.
So everyone start to name the babies a name, so I start to think about what is the name of my baby. When we was driving for 5 hours the other day, I just think about the name of my baby that I can call it. And I really love the movie, I don't know if you know, Forrest Gump. So I remember Forrest Gump came to Vietnam to fight with the Vietnamese. And he ran like 2,000 kilometers in America. So I say, I am biking 2,000 kilometers with a baby, and she's fighting versus Vietnamese in the road. So I thought the perfect name is to call her Forrest Gump.
So I'm born and raised in San Francisco, California. And I've never lived more than an hour from the Golden Gate Bridge. I've never left the country up until now, which is 2 months ago, April 6th, 2018. And when I finally committed to this journey, to book a one-way ticket to a country I had never been to and had no idea how to cope with what was happening, truly be a fish out of water, I was bombarded with sensory overload. I didn't know how to think or feel, and it took me a while to kind of get my bearings. I've been playing guitar for 14 years, and more importantly, I've been playing the same guitar for 14 years, and I never have named it. I never named my car. I've never named an inanimate object in my life. But when I got on my bike, there was some kind of gravity that pulled me to it spiritually, and it made me feel comfortable. The more that I was on the bike, this trip has become one of the most liberating, empowering things I've ever done, and one of the most spiritually fulfilling things. Feel the wind in my face and to be on this bike, racing across a country that is 8,000 miles from home. I realized that I felt more at home than I have in the entire last 2 months, and the only name that would be appropriate for my bike that's making me feel at home was Cali. So it's my Cali baby. It's California. So I'm still home on Cali.
So I decided to name my bike Queen because, I named my bike Queen because it's flattery, baby. Like, I call good men kings. I call good women queens every day. Every fucking day of the week, right? And my baby, she's looked after me. She was a little malnourished at a point, but I fixed her up, and baby, she's my queen.
After my near-death experience, I couldn't name my bike anything else other than Angel. After a few days of riding, we named ourselves the Bon of Glory. Along the way, we experienced the hospitality of the Vietnamese and the beauty of their country.
no proper way to remember something than to just fully be in the moment, living in the present tense, because it's the only tense that you'll ever be in, and breathe it in and just capture the emotions you feel with your heart. And when you tell the story later on, when you're not locked behind a lens, you're going to do the story more justice because you're not distracted. You're just going to be able to think and feel and smell and touch and listen.
Josh was the youngest of us at 21, and a bit more reckless on the bike, and unfortunately had some more slips.
One, two, go.
Just watch it. It's moving, but no by itself. Yes, obviously. I must be part of me scared.
We only later found out that he was dealing with the passing of a close family. I would like to think that the Bond of Glory had a hand in helping him overcome whatever it is that he needed to.
Basically, yeah, I just want to thank you for understanding my immaturity. Just for genuinely helping me on my journey. I'm immature as well, and you are immature as well. I thank you for your help helping me travel down.
Unfortunately, the others had less time in Vietnam, so while I stayed in Hoi An, they drove on. But we were still together in spirit. On the way to Nha Trang, I stopped in front of a store when an older man and his family offered me a place to sit down, tea to drink, and bananas for the road. For no other reason that they were curious and wanted to wish a traveler well. Further on in the lot, I met my last driving partner, Loudon. He was from Switzerland and was also traveling around the world for a few months while considering a career change back home. On the way to Mui Ne, he had some trouble with his bike, My Little Pony. But we eventually fixed it and got there. He also biked through most of Vietnam in a few weeks, just like me and 1,000 other backpackers. When I got to Saigon, I needed to sell my bike before going home. Upon contemplating selling Angel, I felt I was losing a part of me. But before selling her, I drove to synagogue and donated $1 because of the Jewish tradition of tzedakah. Tzedakah is an obligation and charity that is typically understood as a spontaneous act of goodwill and a marker of generosity. By going to Vietnam, I realized that everybody's journey is their own. The most you could do is try to live life as fulfilling as possible, by doing what you love and helping the people that you meet along the way, for no other reason that they simply might need it. Simply put, do good things and good things will happen. Now somebody else will experience driving 2,000 miles, the hospitality of the Vietnamese, the beauty of the country, and will take away what they needed from their own journey.